Hi everybody, and welcome again to the House of Health 365. I'm Dr. Pat, and today we are going to talk about dog food. I know we've already done one video kind of explaining about why dogs might be finicky with their diet and the habits they have. Even if you're feeding them good dog food, sometimes they might prefer human food. But now let's talk about in this video just the dog food itself. And maybe the supplements that you can add to it. I'm going to show you exactly what I use with my dogs as far as supplements. I do use a dry kibble as a base. Typically, most kibbles are grain. They've got some kind of rice in there, or occasionally they will throw in potatoes or pea flour or oat flour or oatmeal. Some dogs are sensitive and they cannot tolerate grains. They're allergic to them. Or if they've got urinary tract issues, they shouldn't be on a grain, or yeast issues, they shouldn't be on any kind of grains, because that will feed that possible infection if they have one. So if you're looking for a grain-free food, they have them. You just have to make sure the bag says grain-free. And I always go for one of the more holistic brands. You'll have to do your research. I'm not going to name any brands here. Some are better than others. You have to do your research though, because the dogs are a slave to what you feed them. They cannot get anything else on their own. So you are in charge of that dog's health completely. They can't go out and get what they think is good for them. They are dependent on you to give them the good stuff. So with that said, I'm just going to show you again the dog food and then the supplements I give them, and I alternate through these. So when we look, I've got two bowls here. One bowl I give to my St. Bernard Luna, and one dog I give to my dog Holly. This one is a typical grain kind of a dog food. This one is a grain-free, and the size of the kibble is about the same. The bowls are a big mess because the dogs are slobbery and messy, but anyway. So these are the bowls that we use, and then in each one I will add different supplements. Typically I will use some of these supplements in the morning, some at night. For example, this cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is a great supplement for dogs as well as for humans. I will put that in their bowls in the evening. I'll just take out one gel cap, and I will take this gel cap and I'll pierce it with a knife. Be careful not to get your hands. And I will just squeeze out the contents through the dog food. Another thing that you can add to the dog food that I do at nighttime is a good probiotic. A lot of dog foods do not have probiotics. This is a good one in particular, this Good Guts. It's just a little scoop. Take out the little scoop, add some powder to the dog food. This one's peanut butter flavored. And that's another good supplement to add to your dog's diet, just to help them have a good, healthy gut, because that's so important for their immune system. The next one that I add in the morning is just a glucosamine chondroitin supplement for their joints as they get older. It's just like humans. This stuff is really good for helping repair and rebuild their joints. And all you do, I buy the capsules, and they just pull apart. You just separate them, and then you sprinkle the powder through the food. And the last thing that I add is vitamin C capsules. Vitamin C is very important for dogs, mainly because dogs actually they produce vitamin C. They make vitamin C in their own bodies, and obviously we as humans do not. And vitamin C is the building block for collagen, and collagen is kind of like the glue that holds tissues together in the body. And what happens when a dog is young, he produces a lot, or he or she produces a lot of vitamin C, which promotes healthy collagen and connective tissue. As the dog ages, the vitamin C production starts to wane off, and so then their joints and their tissues become deficient, and things don't stay together as well as they should, and that's where you see degenerative diseases come into play in the dogs. So again, I've given my dogs vitamin C since puppyhood. All my dogs I've had 2 dogs that were 16 and 17 years old, never had to go to the vet for anything. My 2 St. Bernards are now 7 and 6, they've never had to go to the vet for anything. If you do the right things at home, a little bit of time and just a little extra money is a huge investment in keeping these dogs healthy. And I know if you're like me, the dogs are your family. They're just like one of your children, and you will do anything to keep them healthy. So we've talked about the cod liver oil, we've talked about the glucosamine, we've talked about the vitamin C and the probiotic. The other thing that I like to add is 2 things. One is this guy right here is wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is just that. It's grass that you can buy either at the health food store or you can grow it yourself. If you research wheatgrass, it has amazing properties as far as nutrients, both for humans and for dogs. And what you'll do is you just cut this up into little pieces, little strips about like this big. And you just, again, sprinkle the wheatgrass in the food. The dog, I've never seen a dog that didn't like wheatgrass. Just try a little bit. And it will, I will warn you, it gives your dog a lot of energy, this stuff. It's like super fuel, as well as having amazing healthful properties for the dogs, just like humans. It's a great blood cleanser. It helps the joints. It helps a zillion things in living creatures. So that's another thing that I add into their food from time to time. We'll also add eggs. I will take a single egg and I'll just crack it and dump it in there raw. And eggs are a great supplement for your dogs. The fat, the cholesterol, the protein, those are all things that are great for dog systems. I just crack it raw and just dump it right into the bowl. I tend to get organic as much as I can, eggs, milk, and what have you. And that's another thing that I get. I will sometimes add a little bit of milk to their food. I'll just buy, again, just whether this one's Guernsey brand, I'll buy a little milk, put a little splash in there. Sometimes I will get, instead of the milk, I'll buy chicken bone broth. Yeah, let me find some. I know I've got some here. Let's see. Yep, right here. And so here we have chicken bone broth. Bone broth is, again, a great supplement for anybody, human and dog alike. And it's, again, you can just add it to the kibble, soften it up, and they will gobble it down. So those are essentially the supplements that I like to give my dogs. I give them, go to organic, if I can find organic food, or at the very least, I'm starting to like more and more the grain-free dog kibble, because I think it's a lot less inflammatory for dogs, much better for their systems. And then we've got just to go in order again, we've got the cod liver oil, glucosamine chondroitin, which is really good for aging dogs as their joints get a little bit stiffer. Vitamin C, again, to help prevent those joints from getting stiffer. We've got the bone broth and the milk that you can add to the kibble to soften it up. We've got a good probiotic you can use. We've got your wheatgrass, and of course we've got eggs that you can add too. The last thing I'm going to talk about is water. I make my own water at the house. I distill water here. Water is all your dogs have to drink. That's all they get. They are completely dependent on you for this stuff. If you give them tap water, they are getting all those contaminants and pollutants that are in the tap water. If you give them bottled water, that's a little bit better. If you give them purified water, that's still a little bit better. Reverse osmosis or distilled, to me, is the best water you can give them. I use it for myself and my family for our cooking and our drinking, and I give the dogs the same thing because the dogs, that's all they get. They drink water 24 hours a day. That's all they drink. So they can either get it from a filter, get the water from a filter, or their bodies become the filter. And we see so many diseases nowadays coming from just simple dehydration. So again, it's something that you can, something so easy that you can do for your dog and prevent a lot of illness just by keeping them well hydrated with a great water supply, and again, as pure as possible. I will make a side note, if you do get distilled water, I would suggest you add some mineral drops, some trace minerals, because when it's distilled, obviously all the minerals are gone. Everything is taken out of that water. The pollutants, the contaminants, as well as the minerals. But again, dogs and us need trace minerals in our system. So I just add a little bit according to the bottle, and we can talk about that in another segment in the future. So again, this is Dr. Pat, at the House of Health 365. If you liked what you saw today, please click the like button down there. If you really enjoyed it, please click the share button and share it with all your friends on the internet. And if you want to see more of our healthy tips, ideas, and instruction, please hit the subscribe button, and we can share even more with you in the future. Okay? That's it. Have a great time. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.